Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Movesets video. Today's video is going to be all about Dusknoir, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Dusknoir is a Ghost-type Pokemon introduced into Generation 4 that possesses two abilities, the first of which being Pressure, which is an ability that makes it so that you drain twice as much PP from your opponent when they attack you. As for its hidden ability, it is known as Frisk, which allows this Pokemon to view what item its opponent is holding, which is very useful for scouting purposes. But for its stats, this Pokemon is very interesting defensively, having a fairly low base 45 HP, but a very high base 135 defense and base 135 special defense, making this Pokemon very bulky as both a physical and special wall. Additionally, Dusknoir also has access to Will-O-Wisp, being a ghost type, which allows it to augment its physical defensive capabilities further by burning physical attackers and crippling the damage output that they can produce. Offensively though, Dusknoir has a really great base 100 physical attack, but a not so great base 45 special attack, meaning that more often than not you will see this Pokemon as a physical attacker. And then lastly, Dusknoir possesses a 45 base speed, which is fairly slow and makes it pretty great for Trick Room, either as a user of it itself, or as one that could set it up for other teammates to make use of. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to be running Dusknoir as a bulky ghost type, which is pretty much how you're most commonly going to see it nowadays. So we're going to begin by giving it a careful nature to increase its special defense but lower its special attack, and then running either the Frisk or the Pressure ability here. There really is no preference, so it's whichever one you would rather go with. For the EVs though, we're going to max out both its HP and its special defense with 252 EVs into both of those stats, and put the remainder 4 EVs into its physical defense, while running the Leftovers item to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. But for the moves on the set, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be Will-O-Wisp, as a way of statusing our opponents with the burn status and also potentially crippling physical attackers, making them do significantly reduced damage. Along with this, we're going to be running Shadow Sneak as a priority ghost type move to make use of, which is still pretty powerful even without any attack investment, and allows a bulky Pokemon like Dusknoir to actually nab some revenge kills if your opponent's Pokemon is at a low enough range of health. As for its secondary attack option though, we can either go with Earthquake for additional type coverage or Ice Punch in the same vein. This Pokemon also does have access to Thunder Punch and Fire Punch, which could be an additional option as well in combination with Shadow Sneak, but I think these two are the most commonly useful ones to go with, and more often than not I just usually go with Earthquake on this Pokemon anyways, but Ice Punch is definitely a viable option as well. And lastly, for recovery, we're going to be running Pain Split, which is very effective on Dusknoir because it has such a low HP stat that Pain Split will actually be recovering a ton of health when used against an opponent's Pokemon that has quite a bit of health itself. And this will keep it alive for a very long time to allow it to continue wall off attackers, burn things, and deal a little bit of damage in the process. As for this next moveset, we're going to be running Dusknoir as either a Weather or Trick Room support Pokemon. So we're going to start this one off by again giving it a careful nature to increase its special defense but lower its special attack, and then going with either Frisk or Pressure like before. For the EVs this time though, we're going to be putting 252 into its HP, 192 into its physical defense, and 64 into its special defense to give it its maximum mixed bulk possible, because you're going to want this Pokemon to last for a very long time to support its team with either Rain Dance, Sunny Day, or Trick Room, depending on the type of team that you're going to run. Now, to work in combination with Rain Dance, we have a Damp Rock item to possibly give Dusknoir to hold, and with Sunny Day, giving it the Heat Rock to extend the turns of both of those weathers from 5 to 8. And with Trick Room, I would just go with Dark EMZ, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second as to why. But for our only attacking move really on the set, we're going to be running Shadow Sneak to still give Dusknoir that ability to potentially revenge kill things and deal a little bit of damage, which will obviously circumvent its very bad speed stat. And then for your third attack, either going with Will-O-Wisp to still allow this Pokemon to retain its ability to burn things, or going with Pain Split to give it some more longevity in the battle, which again will be very useful if you're trying to support your team with Rain Dance, Sunny Day, or Trick Room. This will allow it basically a way of possibly switching in a second or third time to set up the Weather or the Trick Room. As for the last move on the set though, Memento or Destiny Bond is a really great option to go with here to further support your team, whether it be a Rain, Sun, or Trick Room team, specifically when using Memento in combination with Dark EMZ, because in addition to lowering your opponent's physical and special attack by 2 stages and killing yourself in the process when you do use Memento, Dark EMZ, when used in combination with Memento, will then heal whatever you bring in after Memento goes off, which is amazing because if you have a Pokemon that is on low health that could be a sweeper for your team to take advantage of the Rain Stone or the Trick Room, you'll kill yourself, lower your opponent's stats, making them more unable to deal with whatever you switch in, and then completely heal up what you bring in, which is very cool. But additionally, if you do want to go with it, Destiny Bond is an option to possibly take down your opponent with you, which is a very good thing to use in combination possibly with Trick Room, because it will allow this Pokemon to then outspeed whatever it's up against because it's so slow, which is also why you could potentially run a Sassy nature here to increase your special defense but lower your speed stat, and then take them down after you've set up the Trick Room. So a lot of options really allow this Pokemon to be very useful on all these varieties of teams. As for this next moveset, we're going to be running Dusknoir as a Choice Banded attacker. So we're going to start this one off by giving it an Adamant nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack, running either Frisk or Pressure, and then going with an EV spread of 252 HP, 252 physical attack, and 4 speed EVs. This will max out your HP and your physical attack to make you kind of into a tanky attacker, and then the 4 speed EVs will give you just one more point of speed, which could potentially allow you to outspeed something else that's base 45. Now, I am also a strong proponent from possibly running more speed investment if you want Dusknoir to outspeed more things, so that option is also there, but this is the way that probably you will most likely be using Dusknoir if you're going to use it with a Choice Band. So for the moves on this set, Shadow Sneak, again, is going to be our main priority Ghost-type move, which will be very powerful behind a Choice Band and that attack investment with an Adamant nature. We're again going to run Earthquake for that additional coverage, which is very useful, obviously, against Steel and Poison and Rock types. And then we have Ice Punch or Thunder Punch as a third attacking option for some more type coverage. And for your last move slot, if you want to just go 4 full attacks, going with Ice Punch and Thunder Punch as your 4th move, or giving you Trick in this last move slot to allow you the opportunity to trick your Choice Band onto an opponent, which will then lock them into a move that they probably don't want to be locked into, which can be very useful. It also is important to keep in mind, though, with that added power of the Choice Band, you will also be locked into a move until you switch out, so that is something to just make note of when using this particular set. But with the Choice Band and this attack investment and these moves, you are able to turn Dusknoir into a very threatening physical attacker behind its base 100 physical attack stat. As for this 4th moveset, we're going to be running Dusknoir as a Trick Room sweeper. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Brave nature to increase its physical attack but lower its speed stat, going with the Frisk or Pressure ability, and then putting 252 EVs into its HP, 252 into its physical attack, and 4 into its special defense. And if you can get it, trying to get 0 IVs in its speed stat so that this Pokemon is as slow as possible, so that under the effects of Trick Room, which is your first move, this Pokemon will be very, very fast. Now, because we're running Trick Room, we have the liberty of being able to run Shadow Punch on this set, which is really great for this Pokemon, because it's significantly more powerful than Shadow Sneak is, and because we're going to be outspeeding things now, we can afford to do that. This move will also be augmented by the Life Orb as your item, or Ghost EMZ if you want to go ahead and do that, to give you a very, very powerful Ghost-type move to make use of. But in addition to that, we're also going to be running Earthquake again on the set, just because it's a great coverage option along with your Stab Ghost-type moves. And then for the last move, either running Ice Punch for additional type coverage, or Destiny Bond, because under the effects of Trick Room, you will be very fast, and then can therefore potentially Destiny Bond something as it tries to take you out. So this is a really cool way to make use of this guy under the effects of Trick Room, because now it's using it on its own as opposed to setting it up for another teammate, and will allow Dusknoir to really shine as an offensive attacker. Finally, for the last moveset of this video, I have a boosting physical attacking set for Dusknoir to run, which is made possible by transferring over the move Power Up Punch from the 6th generation games. So we're going to start this one off by giving it an Adamant nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack, going with Frisk or Pressure, and then the same EV spread as before, with 252 HP, 252 physical attack, and 4 special defense EVs. And again, like before, if you would like to, you could go ahead and run more speed if you want this Pokemon to outspeed a few more things. But for the item on the set, we're actually going to be running this as a bulkier boosting set. So we can either go with an Assault Vest, which will boost this Pokemon's special defense considerably, while making it so that it cannot use any non-attacking moves, which the set doesn't use anyway, or Leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. But for the moves, like I said, we're going to be making use of Power Up Punch, which is a move that you do have to transfer over from the 6th generation games, which is really easy to do on Showdown because you can just pick it, but for those of you that are playing in-game, you have to do it that way, unfortunately. But in addition to this, again, Shadow Sneak and Earthquake are pretty much staples of all of these Dusknoir sets, and then we can go with Ice Punch or Thunder Punch as our last attacking option to give this Pokemon some additional type coverage. And this way, we were able to actually boost Dusknoir into a significantly more threatening physical attacker, because we can acquire a few power-up punch boosts and then be able to fire off either really powerful Shadow Sneaks or any of the other coverage options on this set. But anyways, everybody, that is it for this video on Dusknoir, one of my favorite Ghost-type Pokemon. So thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.